Hello, Sunky enthusiast. My name is Machine Gun Moneybags, but you can call me Machine Gun Moneybags. I'm a total Sunky fan, just like everybody else in the world, and if you say you aren't, you're lying. I have all the games, graphic novels, and limited edition holographic bath soaps, and now it's time to switch subjects entirely. I don't think I've ever played a hitchy or glacked game before, though I don't think I want to play experience. I had 3 dots. He actually was 3 dots. It started on a beautiful stormy day after a long day of fighting World War II. I was tasting my copy of Sunky Unleashed until my eye receptors input light rays to implant an image into my head of the events currently happening. The mailman had arrived to put something in my mail shark as usual and left. I flew out the window to see what it was. The only thing in the mail shark and a note. The note read, "Hi, Santa Claus. Get it? Me neither." I looked inside the package and there was a jewel case. Since I didn't have any jewels, I threw it in the recycling bin. Remember, be green or else. I reached down deeper inside the mouth of my mail shark and retrieved a CD case for computers. A bit self-explanatory, but I spell everything out and don't respect the intelligence of the readers and a note. Holding both in my hands, I swam inside to investigate them like the high purist I am. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend, Chesty Gitterwhip. I know it was him because it was his Glitterwhip. I know it was him because it was his handwriting, except that it wasn't. Dear Machine Gun Moneybags, destroy that disc immediately. Don't put it in any device at all. If you don't hate me, do as I say. Chesty Glitterwhip. It sounds like somebody from Wreck-It Ralph. I took note of what he said, and I noticed the disc was shiny. Shiny discs? Yes, please. I'll disrespect my peers any day for such a great payoff. And the icing on the cake and the icing on this metaphorical maybe cake was that it had Sunky written on it. Anyway, I went up to my room and sat in my chair and turned on my compoot and put the disc in and closed the tray and looked up at the screen and breathed in and breathed out and blinked and clicked on stuff and clicked on things that aren't stuff. Folders. The only file was Sunky.MPEG. When I clicked it, an exe opened up. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first installment in the Sunky series. Sunky the game! I was like, totally tubular, broski. After mashing my face on the keyboard to start games like I usually do, I saw the title screen change into something else for a split second. Sunky the evil. His eyes over there, and they're red. The sky had darkened, the logo became rusted, and much like the inner workings of my heart. Instead of saying Sunky the game, the title ribbon said Sunky the evil, and the level select button said evil. The water in the background was red, like the color red. But the creepiest thing was Sunky. He had those red eyes that were looking right at something that was most likely me. His mouth was very slightly more, and it was really spoopsy, guys. Really spoopsy. Boy, for something on screen for only a few seconds, I sure did notice everything in precise detail. I brushed this very conveniently evil image off as just a glitch, like anyone else in my position would. It then took the screen from the Sunky the third game. The background was from the bad future level. Trumpets and Sunky CD. Poopy clouds and all. The terror of the background could only be matched by the music. It was a song called We Are Family, and it haunts me to this very day. The files had 3 characters on them. Tlels the Fix, Knickknacks the Enchilada, and Dr. Robotnik. I yelled, WTF, an annoying teenage girl who uses text speech as part of a verbal vocabulary. That's when I realized this isn't a glitchy Sunky game. This must be hacked or something. Dun dun dun. I'm sure I came to this conclusion at a legitimate time. Most times when playing games, super evil level selects appear when they're glitchy. But playing as Robotnik, this isn't some kind of made-up because things like that can just happen normally. Since Knickknacks and Dr. Robotnik had locks above their heads, I chose Tlels, since only red static was above him. The game froze for 15 seconds. I had a stopwatch handy. And then I heard the scary laugh of SpongeBob SquarePants! The screen stayed black for 4.1361269137420 seconds. And then the level title thing, object item indicator words thing came on the screen. But the complicated shapes were different shades of red. Ooh, colors are scary! The level was called The Hills Are Alive, and this angered me since I had not yet seen The Sound of Music and I didn't want any spoilers. Yes. New paragraph. The screen faded in to show level, the green one from Sunky the Game. The music was scary, though. It was the Goof Troop theme song. Just like you usually do in this level, I held right the whole time. However, there weren't any enemies or rings or anything, other than a flat strip of land. After a while, Tlels saw a dead squirrel. His reaction didn't change, since that would be really hard to program. Even if it's haunted or whatever, we don't live in a fairy tale land of perfect programming. More dead animals started appearing the further Tlels went. Soon, they stopped appearing as the music stopped. Tlels saw Sunky on the right side of the screen. He was looking the other way, eyes crossed. Closed. Tlels slowly started walking toward as static sounds grew louder. How is static relevant or significant in any way to the story? I don't know. Explanation shouldn't be expected in haphazardly written stories. Tlels reached out his hand, and in a very quick movement before the screen went to black, Sunky's... I said moment! Whatever. Now shut up! Sunky's eyes opened, and the eyes were red. Eeky eekers! The screen stayed black for 7 stopwatches until white text formed a message appeared. The text read, "Got to go fast." At this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game. But what kind of creepypasta main character would I be if I made a smart decision? A rational one. And the main character belongs in good creepypastas. After the text faded out, I was taken to a different level with the title now saying, Level Patty Cake. This time I was in level Jungly Jungles from the Sunky the Third game. And it looked like everything was on fire. Did someone drop a flaming hot Cheeto? They can't all be winners. So I pressed down on the arrow keys as hard as I could and made Tlels run as fast, which wasn't very fast. The atmospherical yet creepy song of Watch Out for My Body Rolls played as I made Tlels trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to casually stroll from. Suddenly I heard that creepy laugh again, the awful SpongeBob laugh, right after 10 stoopwooches have passed as I helped Tlels walk through the forest and then start Sunky popping everywhere on the screen. Again with those red eyes. Eek. Anything but the color red. Colors give me the heebie-jeebies. The music's changed to the suspenseful tune of You're on Blast as I see consistent verb tenses, not in my story. Sunky behind Tlels. He was slowly gaining up on him. Sunky wasn't running, he was actually flying. That was the most preposterous thing that had happened to me that day. Suddenly, Tlels tripped as another cutscene began. The music stopped, and Sunky vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 watch stops. The scene was super sad. How could this happen to Tlels? I cried as much as my body could allow. And he was. He was the one who raised me. He understood me more than anyone, and now I had to sit here, watching my closest pal suffer. Oh, the agony! But then I remembered none of that was true, and that it was just a fictional game character on a non-canon game that couldn't be in any real danger due to the fact that he was fictional. But then, Unky Sunky appeared right in front of Tlels, and though we can't really tell who Fox looked up in horror. I could do nothing but watch. Well, I could have left the room to prevent being scared, turned off the computer, closed the game, or file my taxes, but I didn't feel like it. Just in a split second, Sunky danced with Tlels before the screen went black. The text returned. Only this time it said, "Oh yeah, this is happening." I was so shocked. And did Sunky really have a silly dance party with Tlels? No, he couldn't have. He and Tlels were supposed to be waiting till marriage, right? I shook the shock off by shaking my choice booty, and I was right back to the character select. The save file that had Tlels was different. He was no longer in the box but the TV screen, which is flickering with the red static. Wearing a very colorful party hat and an outrageously purple bow tie. Trying to ignore it, I selected the file with knickknacks on it. The game came again. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black again, and stayed there, and stayed again and again and again for another 10 stuff weeches. This time the title card said, "You might not be able to run, but I may need to double." I was really freaked out now. I couldn't tell if this was a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of frozen beverage, or anything really, which would make it nothing. But despite my fear of what could happen next, I kept playing because that's the smart thing to do. The next level looked much different compared to the previous two. It had the level of Pat Guy's favorite, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had dark reddish cloud, but it was the music that creeped me out most. It sounded like the song "Hooray for Captain Underpants," a fine piece of auditory pleasure in my humble opinion. Knickknacks ran down the straight pathway in this dark level. As he did, the screen flickered red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again. After a few seconds of running, I notice I'm a great writer. Several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I'm sorry. As I'm writing my voice, I'm losing it. I felt this growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen. Another switch, but in the same sentence. To Knickknacks. Suddenly, Sunky appeared right in front of him with those red eyes. Knickknacks provided dialogue, and then red static appeared again. When the static vanished, it showed nothing but black screen, and saying, insert Sonic quote that became outdated meme here. I was now scared, which implies I wasn't before. Sunky found Knickknacks already? What was going on? I wanted to go back to my normal life of abusing talking fishes and outrageously styling dances. Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knickknacks looked like a doofus, and Sunky was nowhere to be found. While this occurred, a sexy song was playing. Suddenly, Sunky appeared right behind Knickknacks in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knickknacks turn and then tug in hopes of rustling his jimmies, but Sunky vanished in black pixelated smoke when I tried, and that evil laugh went off again. Then Sunky appeared behind Knickknacks again, and then I tried to touch him again, and blah 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 repetition. I felt like I was going crazy, because nothing drives me more insane than a game character moving around. Another scene played as knick-knacked, proofreading is for squares, stopped in place and spun his tongue around. I know I've done it. I know I've done so from time to time. And then in a split second, Sunky danced with knickknacks, and his screen went black for at least 3 stopwatches. Another text message appeared. So many dances to dance, so little dance. Wouldn't you dance? What in the name of Bartholomew? Just what is going on besides me facilitates party with all his friends? But I was too smart to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time, the second file box had Knuckles on the TV screen. He had a party blower in his mouth, Pete Blow. A party blower, I tell you. I began to think that those were the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but that wouldn't make sense due to the fact that they're not real people. So I shut the game. So I shut off the game and took a nap. In my dream, I was elected the chairman of New Mustache World, and my first order of business as president was lifting the hot dog ban. However, mayoral decision made the raviolis unhappy, so it was my duty as chief of police to protect the New Mustache Worlders using the high-tech scrump apple beams from Georgia with egg yolk cannons, but I saved the day with my mighty nipple ring. That's when I woke up. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I didn't know why, but I had to figure out why this was happening, which means I did know why I continued to play. So I turned off the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik. I still think that was wacky playing as Robotnik, which most people think is part of any of this. The title card appeared, accompanied by dead silence. The level was named The Sanctuary. The song Castle Black began playing as the level faded in. I observed a worried Robotnik inside of a rocky barricade. The only source of light came from a couple cyan orbs held in a yellow mold that resembled an egg cup, covered the surface of the rocky ground. Even with the lights, the level was quite dark. Robotnik controlled normally with the exception of his inability to jump. There were a few steps ahead of him that led deeper into the area that Robotnik walked down. After reaching the bottom step, Robotnik continued walking the straight path ahead, and the lights illuminated his path. I wasn't quite sure. It might have been me, though, since it disappeared as my eyes focused on the area and I spotted it. So I continued ahead, Robotnik still looking a tad unnerved. However, I noticed lights stopping, appearing after walking a bit more. The oncoming path soon began to darken due to the lack of lights. The music began to fade out for a while, bringing me a small sense of unease. A visible wall prevented me from doing so. I had no other direction to move than the pitch-black path ahead. I kept going, unsure if things would light back up. After a short span of time, the screen faded into a silhouette of Robotnik in a falling position. He didn't appear to be conscious, as he didn't move while falling. He might have fallen down a cliff previously hidden with this new light source coming from. I wanted to see where Robotnik was falling towards, and fell into a very large light. It became too bright to see Robotnik at this point. It then cut to a purple polka-dotted room with Robotnik and instructions saying, "How to dance party. 1. Fashion." Suddenly, Dr. Robotnik's spectacles appeared. At the top of my lungs, I yelled, "Oh no, Dr. Robotnik! Oh, Dr. Robotnik, where are your spectacles?" My next-door neighbor told me to be quiet, so I threw a very colorful milk cartoon at him. Then Dr. Robotnik got a pair of tight shutter shades. After the next step appeared, 2. The dance moves. Then Robotnik did a hashtag swag dance. 3. That is it. After He appeared in a cool dance room with Sunky. Then, the red static lasted for about 15 stopwatches, and then it showed me a most unpleasant image. Indeed, old chum, a most unpleasant image indeed. The image showed a hyper-realistic Sunky standing in the darkness where you could only see his face while his head and torso faded into black. And when I say hyper-realistic, I mean he looked so real you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen, unlike those times when I touch photographs thinking I'll feel them because of how realistic they are. His face, oh goodles, he had the most horrifying straight face I had ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw the image at the start of the game. His glowing red dot eyes were staring right at me, and as if staring into my mind instead of right at me. That gruesome image for a good 30 stipwitches. Never taking my feet off it, I felt as if he was actually looking at me. The screen flickered with red static again 3 times, and on the 3rd time, I heard Sponge Boy Me Bob laugh, except this time it sounded distorted, demonic even, as if someone knew how to use Audacity. I went back to the image again, except this time, although it was messed up, it was pretty much one of those horrifying things I looked at since I had started the game. I occasionally sunk. It was just when I read that message while looking at Sunky when it hit me. I realized it right there and then. Sunky wanted to have a silly dance party, so we had one with Clells, Knickknacks, and Dr. Robotnik. They loved the silly dance parties, but since Sunky never made any, that was what Sunky's intentions were, hence their fear. Also, Level the Green One was throwing a zombie costume contest. The one with the picket sign obviously won. Knickknacks split ketchup all over Level, Pat Guy's favorite. So the poopy clouds were sent in to clean it up with their mind powers. And the red eyes Sunky to get teleportation and flying powers, which helps make gathering his friends to dance with him even easier. However, the side effects included our red eyes and the occasional smog release, explaining the black smoke around Sunky before he danced with Knickknacks. And all that from reading, I occasionally sunk. The red static appeared again, and as it screeched for good 7 stopwatches screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last message came up, pictured with an image of happy Tlels. You fiddled the riddle. The game closed itself. I solved the clever little setup the game made for me, and I felt prouder than a turtle on Saturday. The next day, I told Chesty Glitterwhip about how I cracked the code, and he gave me a little paper ribbon. After solving that tough little mystery skeleton pop-out, I declared that my best one yet. I hope to see what the future holds and keep positive. This has been Machine Gun Moneybags.